Let's take a look at one of the simpler effects that you can work with. We're going to be looking at Osound and Otagsw. I'm in an orb, and in front of us you can see a switch and a toilet. Now let's watch what happens when I hit the switch. There's a click sound, and when I hit the toilet, there's a flushing sound. If we go into the editor, the switch is an Otagsw, and its tag down here is set to 1100. The texture is an SWTCH02, and this works in conjunction with, let me get rid of this texture in the Osound because it's not visible. So the Osound has a tag as well, but this tag is for stimulating the Osound to work. In the auxiliary we see that click O2 is the sound that's being activated. So here's how it works. The Otagsw, when bumped, activates tag 1100. This Osound listens on tag 1100, and when it's stimulated, it activates click O2. So let's see how that works again. We bump it, and there's a click sound. We bump it, it puts out tag 1100, and there's a bump sound of the click. Now there's a difference. This other tag SW, you can see it does not have a tag right here. That's because we're using the auxiliary effect target, which is an alternate option for working with this. This is set to flush SND. If we look over here, we'll notice another Osound. Again, we don't need the texture since it's outside of our visible world. Its ID name is flush SND. So that means the Otagsw can either stimulate the effect target, which is a named ID, or it can use a tag number which you input. We can change these if you wish. We'll change that to 1101. Now all we have to do is change the Osound to listen to 1101. And if we look at that, it still works. So let's start this from scratch. Okay, our objects are gone. We just have the O play. So let's start with our switch. First of all, I just happen to remember the name of the texture. If we click with the left mouse button to open up the texture field and then right click to go into the sub menu, here we see that it's the switch we want, or we could choose a different switch. Let's go ahead and switch to switch 04. So I'm going to click that. Now I want to make this effect an Otagsw, object tag switch, and we're going to set this to 1200. It can be any number. There are limitations, but if you stay in the 1000 series, you can pretty much pick any number you want. Now we have to activate an Osound. So I created an object. We're going to call it Osound. Might as well set this to no name. And we set this to listen on 1200. So this puts out 1200 and this listens to 1200. So let's see how that works. And it didn't. So first of all, let's turn this to 0 degrees so that it faces us. It's an Otagsw 1200 object collision, and our Osound is listening on 1200. Real simple. We forgot to put in our auxiliary. Here we put in click O2. I don't remember offhand if that's, so I'm getting Alt N, go to wave, press C, hit the down arrow, and click O1 or click O2. Either one of them are fine. So Alt N to exit that. So now we have in the auxiliary the sound we're looking to have it play. Let's get that effect target clear. Save and run. There we have it. Now let's do the other method. So we have an Otagsw. Let's make this toilet 01, I believe. Let's double check. Nope. Toilet 02. And Otagsw is the effect. We're not going to use a tag this time. Instead, we're going to have it go into an object called George. Don't need that there. Click OK. So let's make another Osound object. Give it an ID name of George. Let's remember this time to put in a sound. Get rid of this effect target. And let's double check that there is such a sound as flush. And it's flush 01. Closing with Alt N. Go back into the auxiliary and call that flush 01. Save, load, and let's see if we manage to do it. Flush sound, click sound. So, two examples, one for each of the different techniques for using an O-tag, and we're using Osound. This could have easily been any one of many other effects. Osound just happens to be an easy one to work with. So there you have it, a simple action circuit using an Otagsw and Osound. I recommend that you try building several dozen of these so that you can learn things like not forgetting to fill in the auxiliary, leaving stuff in that you shouldn't, and discovering that it does weird stuff. Alright, well, good luck with your first action circuit.